Fuck, I braked too early. God damn, I thought.
Well, hello and welcome back to another evening of Syndicate Motorsport Racing here. I'm Pirate Lazy and I'll be doing the commentary stream for today's big race here at Bathurst, Mount Panorama, and it's going to be the final to our BTCC league, which has been quite a fun league but not the best of attendance. So, some good battles, but hopefully for our next league there'll be a little bit more action with more drivers hitting the track. But nonetheless, it's been a fight to the championship as we see who's coming close to victory here. Will it be Eric, Andrew, or so on? We'll be getting into that in a bit more detail in a few moments, just coming to the end of the qualifying session. And then we'll be getting into the first of our two back-to-back 20-minute races here at Bathurst. The glorious A-Team van here, ready to cover the action today. Quickly get standing ready. So, jumping into the standings, we have the following position at the end of 7 point scoring rounds. We've got Eric Axelson in first place with 319 points, followed by Andrew, who's 20 points behind. Both Eric and Andrew are in attendance today, so their fight for the championship will continue. Akashik is in third place, but unfortunately has been caught out by Germany's brilliant public transport system and will therefore be unable to attend, and that will probably cost him his podium, because a few points behind is Forrest McCormack, although I don't believe Forrest is in attendance either, so he may lose out. I'm actually going to go ahead and ping him. We can get him involved. Christmas PJs files. I have to do a picture of those into the Discord at some point, now that you've told me about those. So yeah, Forrest McCormack, hopefully if he can attend, he stands a chance of finishing in the top 3. Otherwise it might be our very own Binding who stands a chance of finishing in the top 3. 259 points of Binding, so given he is in attendance, he might be able to sneak the podium here. Sketty and Red are in 6th place and 7th place with 190, 188 points respectively. Erdy just 1 point behind Red with 187 according to this. That's probably one of the best results we've had from Erdy in a league. He's done really well this league. Miles in 9th place, 181 points, and the Alien in 10th place with 157, followed by Neo, Butterlord, Drift 340, Martin, and Box, Nico, and Babu. So on our starting grid today we have Red, who's qualified in first place, and then Eric Axelson in the Honda taking up the second position. None of the cameras seem to be playing ball, so I'm just going to leave it on the F5 camera for the time being. And yes, whilst this has unfortunately not been the world's most well-attended league, which I'm a little bit confused by because these cars are really good fun and they have provided some very good battles. Maybe it just wasn't everyone's cup of tea this time round, so we've got a community voted for league coming up next. I'll do a little bit more information on that later on. But without further ado, let's get ourselves ready to race here. The lights are up, engines are revving. There we go, Audi off to a good start there with the BMW in hot pursuit. And it's Eric Anderson losing out down to 4th place already as we come up to T1. And he has been caught out by JH95 already, but manages to continue without too much issue. So down to the first corner they go, and we've got a pretty tight group heading up to Forest Corner, and he has managed to take out Binding already and get turned around in T1. Not ideal, but I did see that coming, and Ernie has continued. Keep an eye on this. So going back up, we've got Eric, followed by Andrew, and it's Neo hunting down Red out on the front at the moment. Andrew hot on the heels at the Honda at the moment, catching a little bit of dirt there on the way down to the downhill section. This is the bit that I thought was going to be really interesting for these cars. Front-wheel drive going downhill, the tyres on the front will be really having to do a lot of work here. Thanks Adrian, I've just adjusted that. I have to turn it up for the interviews, I always forget that. So down the Conrod Straight we go. It's Eric Axelson, 0.3 of a second behind Neo at this point. Neo a whole second behind Red as well. The BMW definitely losing out on pace on the long straights here, but seemingly hasn't really had too much of an issue for Neo. Only really being under pressure from Honda. And in the corners, the BMW can hold its own. Andrew alongside Eric as they come down to the final corner. Calipers glowing. And Red is now clear by 2 seconds. Binding, thinking about a move there, but had to duck out. Not enough time for him to get past the Honda. But look at this, Red is now clear by a good margin. He can just focus on his race, whilst Neo has to kind of manage his distance between himself and Andrew. But Andrew, Eric and Binding are into a little bit of a three-way battle here. And this should provide some good entertainment coming up shortly. Eric climbing up the hill now, side by side with Andrew as I come up the hill. Binding carrying a lot more speed there actually, had to slam on the anchors to avoid making contact with the rear end of Eric. Eric seemingly a little bit quicker than Andrew, but just not able to turn that into an overtake opportunity just yet. But it's definitely hanging in there. Let's see how close to the wall they're going to get. You can see Eric carrying a little bit more speed through that final corner than Andrew there, but nowhere to use it as they head down to the downhill section. Andrew on the brakes for most of the way down the hill. Neo a little bit off pace there, seems to have got caught out by one of the corners there, and now Eric and Andrew try to go side by side, which is always a little bit of a risky endeavour. But Andrew's through. He's managed to do it in the Forest elbow. And now let's see whether Eric has got anything in his back pocket for this downhill section. He is quicker in a straight line than the Toyota, but he's very close to the edge of that grass. And he'll be down the Conrod Straight on the right hand side for the kink. Again, Neo losing out a little bit on the Conrod Straight to the speed of the cars behind, but manages to use his cornering ability to put up a good defence. Eric fighting with Andrew all the way here. Binding getting in onto the action as well. Side by side for Eric and Andrew. Eric just a little bit further behind. Looks like a little bit of a desync there for Andrew. His car's flashing blue, which is the anti-lag protection. Eric's just ever so slightly quicker in a straight line, and that's helping him on these straights. But Andrew is making up for it in the corners. Opportunity for Binding now as Andrew goes defensive. They're almost going 3 wide up here. Side by side between Eric and Binding. Red clear now by 4.6 seconds. Staying on board here with Eric as he comes down the hill. He's catching up with Binding. But Andrew's definitely starting to break away now. I think Eric just clipped the wall there by the looks of it. See what he can do with the downhill section. Does tend to have a little bit more of a speed advantage. And he'll get a bit of slipstream there as well. I think the car looks like it's actually floating above this track surface there. Over the crest comes Eric. Not like Eric to get caught out like this. He seems to be losing out to the Toyotas, and generally Eric is contending for the top spot, let alone the P5. But it's Binding and Andrew who are the closest together. Neo still holding his own in P2. Well, I've just seen the picture in media. Truly glorious. The Binding still 0.9 of a second behind his teammate here. Climbing up the hill once again under the ultimate flag thing. Let's see how close Binding dares to go to the wall here. Always a tricky transition into that downhill. You've got to shed a lot of speed whilst turning the car quite a lot. And there's a lot of weight transfer you have to worry about in that process. Look at this, Red just league of his own at this stage. I think Red's going for maximum points today. In the background, Neo just coming around T1, being chased down by the likes of Andrew and Binding. They're still clear by 2 seconds, which is interesting given some of the BMW drivers were saying that their car wouldn't be performant here and therefore they wouldn't have a chance of fighting for the podium, but Neo is proving them wrong at the moment. Unless he happens to do what he has done on occasion and sabotage his own race, he should be in with a shot here for a good finish. Andrew's still 2.2 seconds behind. Well, H95 up on their personal best. 2:20.833 there. Your Andrew pushing as hard as he can by the looks of it. Binding following in quite closely behind. Neo still 1.6 seconds ahead actually, so they are reeling him in just a little bit. Neo's down on his time by 0.6 of a second, whilst Andrew's up on his by 0.2. We're already well beyond the halfway point in this race, 8.5 minutes left to go, and Red is now clear by 7.5 seconds, whilst Andrew is only 1.3 seconds behind Neo at this stage. Neo needs to keep up his momentum, otherwise he'll make it a little bit too easy for Andrew to reel him in. Let's see if Neo can improve on his time. He's put that gap back to 1.8 seconds, 0.9, back to 2. Andrew a little bit slower through the first corner than Neo. You can see that Neo is back to 2 seconds clear now as they start their ascent. But Neo's managed to clear a 3-second gap almost, just in the uphill section, and he's pretty much on par with his previous best time. Andrew, on the other hand, is 0.6 of a second slower. So if Neo can just keep up this, should be in with a good shot for this P2 finish. He's got 7 more minutes to go. Meanwhile, Binding a second behind his teammate here in the Toyota. If he can get a little bit closer, he might stand a chance at getting a battle going with Andrew. Yeah, Binding doing really well, Adrian. He's solid here, keeping pace with Andrew. Closing that gap to 0.8 of a second. Andrew 2.1 seconds behind Neo now. And a whole 0.75, sorry, off his own personal best lap time there. Bending now to almost 0.8 over the line. Andrew 2.4 behind Neo at the start of this lap. Binding's getting closer though, 0.6 of a second. He'll be getting toe up the hill now. Binding's now within 0.5 of a second. Closing that gap even further as Andrew struggles to maintain pace. Now from the rear view of Andrew's Toyota, you can see his teammate Binding very much keeping pace here and trimming off a little bit of time here and there, putting Andrew under a bit of pressure. The downhill section they go, Binding riding the curbs like a champ. There's Neo, a whole 2.7 seconds ahead of Andrew at this stage. So Andrew keeping pace with his own best time here, starts the ascent once again, Binding still about a second behind. Three more minutes to go. The primary concern with racing at Bathurst is not keeping your lap time up, it's doing so without crashing into one of these walls. There's very little in the way of forgiveness if you go offline on this circuit. You'll be very quickly into a wall, and if you're in the downhill section, very likely turned around in the process. Meanwhile, Eric Axelsen has got Erdy 0.2 of a second behind. This is very unlike Eric to be in this position. I wonder if he's suffering from damage. But Erdy is now battling away. Erdy stands a pretty good chance here, I think. Erdy now reeling in Eric on the straights. I think Eric's got some straight line speed issues here because he's definitely struggling for speed, and Erdy side by side as they come over the crest, the kink, and it's Erdy now in P5, Eric in P6. So onto the final lap. There's 43 seconds left to go. I think Red is in with a very clear win here. Neo going for the P2, which puts all the BMW drivers to shame. Erdy in the shot with a P5. So red on the downhill section here. Will he get to the line in time to start another lap, or will this be the last one? Just noticed that red's got the very old logo on the top of his car. So, the timer has ended and it's going to be red down to the line first. Red over the curbs for the last corner and crosses the line in P1. Solid win for red there. Neo coming in with the P2. Nicely done for the BMW gang. And that will leave Andrew to pick up P3 with Binding in P4 close behind. Erdy going to be picking up his P5 here, probably one of his best finishes of the season. Erdy over the line for the P5 finish. Well done, Erdy. Eric, P6. I can only imagine that they were suffering from some kind of damage issue which impacted their race, because that's very unlike Eric. And that just leaves H95 to bring it home for the P7. There we have it, race number 1 completed. Red has continued to drive for some reason. There's the horn. Don't think Red's horn's quite working the correct way. So well done to Red. Brings her back into the pit lane. I think Red's very pleased with himself. So there we have it, that's race number 1 completed. Stick around for race number 2, which will be hitting your screen shortly. I'll fire up a little advert while we wait, and then we'll get on with race number 2. So we're back for race number 2, which will be starting in about 45 seconds. Of course, the starting positions for this race are dictated by the finishing positions of the prior race, so you can see Red and Neo on the front row, with Binding and Andrew behind, Erdy and Eric in 5 and 6, and H95 bringing up the rear. Away we go. Neo off to another good start here at the beginning of race number 2. Waiters coming in through cleanly, with H95 coming up alongside Erdy now as they head up towards the first of the corners. Well, I say the first of the corners, the first of the uphill corners. This time H95 through without incident. And managing to hang with the group this time. S05 now dipping down, getting quite close to Eric. Let's go for the onboard view and see how things look from there. Seem to have left the wire mesh on their car for some reason. Down onto the Conrod Straight they go. This time it's Andrew chasing behind Binding. Winding down to the final corner now, running in P3 with Andrew just 0.3 of a second behind. Meanwhile, H95 running in P6 catches a little bit too much curb there. That's going to make things a little bit easier for Erdy potentially to come up alongside, but Erdy is closing, but not quite there. Dips to the left to make the move. Erdy through to P6 with a nice little overtake there. battle at the back continues with Erdy now up in P6. Just 0.6 of a second ahead of H95. Go and take a look, however, at Binding, who has got Andrew and Eric close behind now. Eric this time seemingly a little bit more competitive with the times. Will he be able to compete with the Toyotas this race? Meanwhile, H95 catches Erdy, having just almost straight lined through the downhill chicane. Erdy back in a straight line again quite quickly after that, which is good for him. Hopefully no significant damage from that impact. And H95 catching a little bit more damage there, crashing into a wall. .80 km/h hit for H95 with Erdy there. Quite significant. Meanwhile, Binding still running in P3, leads Andrew and Eric. Neo's ahead of Red though. And BMW looks like they're on track here to finish both races in a podium. Let's see if Red can pull out another masterclass in driving the Bathurst route and catch Neo at all. Here comes Eric. Onboard view for Eric here as he climbs up the hill behind the Toyotas. There's Andrew and Binding up ahead. Andrew just clipping the wall slightly. Guys are still very close indeed, but no clear advantage to any one driver other than their driving order right now. Like Eric's back on pace, which is good. And Red 0.8 of a second behind Neo still. Eric thinking about a move on Andrew, but nowhere to go just yet. Meanwhile, Red getting to within half a second of Neo in the front there. Andrew running a little bit wider there than Binding, but still 0.4 of a second behind his teammates, whilst Eric remains 0.8 behind Andrew. Hopefully not a demonstration of kind of losing a bit of pace as we saw in the last race. Could be tyres overheating, not sure. Meanwhile though, Neo is under threat from Red as the Audi is creeping up now, going to the onboard view for the downhill section. Red is all over Neo's back end at the moment. Now's a chance for Red. 0.3 of a second. Right in the slipstream at the top of the Conrod Straight. That's going to put him in a really good position here to overtake into the kink. Let's see whether he can pull this off. And Red is through, but the BMW is strong in the corners. Red side by side with Neo as Neo threatens into the first corner. It's Red coming out on top. Red and Neo continue their little dance over the top of the mountain. Neo 0.4 of a second behind at this stage. The battle back as well between Binding and Andrew continues. 0.3 of a second between these two teammates. They work their way down the hill, just past the halfway mark of the race. 9 minutes left on the clock. Ooh, and a bit of a shunt between Andrew and Binding there. Didn't look too significant. Red's now clear of Neo by almost a second. So might be that Red's on track here, but actually saying that, Neo's threatening into the first corner again as they go side by side. And Neo's just about managed to get alongside, but I think Red's going to be back on an even keel heading up to the first corner here. Cameras on the BMW seems a little bit scuffed. There's Red just ahead on the right hand side. Neo back to P2, 0.5 of a second behind, whilst Binding starts to close the gap to Neo, 0.6 there, and Andrew 0.7 as well, with Eric actually only 0.9 behind them as well. So this front five are actually very close indeed. Nice to see the whole group here racing in quite close proximity as we come through the final corner. Eric bringing up the rear. Sun starting to set a little bit. Up the hill we go once again. Neo looking for any time he can get from red. Andrew just a mere 0.3 of a second behind his teammate. Down the Conrod Straight, just 4.5 minutes left to go. That's about 3 laps race time remaining. So over the top of the mountain we go, and the gap's getting a little bit bigger. Eric falling a little bit further behind Andrew. Andrew 0.8 behind Binding. Binding definitely losing a bit of time here to Neo, 1.4 seconds further back, but still it's actually quite close. And Neo that similar distance behind Red as Binding is behind Neo. Andrew gaining time once again through the forest elbow, I think. Andrew looking for a bit of a late stage battle here with Binding. They're side by side into the final corner. Binding doing a fantastic job of keeping Andrew at bay. Eric just seemingly unable to get a significant advantage out of the Honda here. Which is leaving them down in P5. Not a position we've seen Eric finishing in for pretty much the entirety of the season. Onto the last lap we go. Downhill section through the forest elbow. Andrew just 0.5 of a second behind Binding. Binding 0.5 of a second behind Neo. This could be a nail-biting finish. Binding definitely putting some pressure on Neo, although Binding getting caught out on the curb. Eric's in the mix as well, but I don't think there's enough time for any last minute manoeuvres to come out. Binding trying to go around Neo, but it's going to be a photo finish between those two. Red wins the race, Neo comes in P2, Binding in P3, Andrew in P4 and Eric in P5 with Erdy up for a P6 and 895 coming through with a P7. Here comes Erdy. Now we have to wait for the final results to finish. Well done, Red. Double win. And here comes H95. So while we wait for the end of the race and the standings to complete, I will go ahead and just put the beer at the back screen up. I'll get a replay ready. Something to look at whilst we do the interviews. So let me go ahead and just open up the channel. Everyone's already in here before I even get here. We'll just see if the final results have come through. Still only got race number 1 going up on there. drivers on the server yet. Okay, race number 2 is completed, so we have our standings now. And interesting. Go ahead and open up. So let's bring in Eric first, please. Actually, Red, go ahead. Put your hand up. Let's bring you in to speak. Hey, Red. Congratulations, double win today. Tell me about your race. You must have a big smile on your face.
Yeah, it didn't happen for a very long time, I feel. Been doing a few podiums here and there, but hadn't had a win, I think, in a long time in a league race. And yeah, really surprised it happened here.
Yeah, was it just practice, or did you just happen to be having a really good evening, or did you think the Audi just had the edge here?
I just think the Audi clicked here on the in the mountains. Like I know it's like I don't know. I did a bit of practice earlier this week, but it was really just working in the like perfect speed for the corners on the top of the mountain. Like I usually drive either faster car and you have to slow down, or vintage car and you have to slow down. And I could just take most of the mountain flat out in the Audi, so pretty perfect. And yeah, I was a bit surprised that nobody beats my time in practice, like in pre-race practice. And I happened to take pole by like half a second. And
Yeah, it was
race one
definitely.
was just me driving away, and race two I had to work a bit more for it. But it was a really good race.
Yeah, race number 1 was pretty straightforward for you, wasn't it? Race number 2, Neo gave you a bit of a run for your money. Tell me about that battle.
Yeah, I think Neo just picked up the pace from the race one. He had more laps in his belt, and I was following him, trying to find a place, and somehow at one point I made a good hairpin, and he made a bad one, so it was just exactly what I needed. With the little extra top speed that Audi have on the BMW, it was just enough to overtake, and I made a few mistakes, just a few laps following, so he had an opportunities, but I managed to stay ahead. And yeah, double win.
Yeah, nicely done, nicely done. Well, you finished 6th place overall in the championship with 244 points. Not quite beating Forrest McCormack, who was 269 points ahead of you, but I know you weren't available for every round, so still a very strong finish considering. And yeah, I think today's race was a really good way to finish the league.
Yeah, definitely. Very happy with how it finished. I got a second place in Snetterton last week, and now double podium. It's really a really strong finish for the race, for the league.
Very good, very good.
But
Well, why don't we just spend a
I
couple
did
of
enjoy.
seconds talking about the next league, Red? So time for the big reveal, I think.
Ooh, big reveal. Let's go.
So on the back of the community vote, we had LMP2 come up as the community favourite for the league, and we've organised a whole new league to start off following the conclusion of this league. And Red, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going to be featured in that league?
We will feature the LMP2 cars around like tracks around the world. We will try something as well, which is different weathers and mostly weather times. It's like we won't have only races on day, but we will only also race with sunset and even some nights.
Yep. So it should be quite a big departation from what we've done before, where it's always sunny and in the afternoon. So yeah, we have daytime, nighttime racing, different weather, tracks from all over the world. Really nice LMP2 cars, and should be a good barrel of laughs. Hopefully, attracting a bigger grid than we had for this league. But I must say that the battles in
hopefully.
this league were really good fun to watch.
And we will be back to the one car grid as well, just like the radicals. And we know it produces like incredible racing. So yeah, really looking forward to that.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Red, for attending the league and helping to organise everything as you do. And big shout out to Viles as well, watching at home in his Christmas pajamas. And we'll be getting on to the other interviews. So thank you very much, Red. Have a good rest of the evening and enjoy the double win high.
Yeah, thank you very much, and have fun with the other drivers waiting for you.
That's good. Cheers, Red. Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, let's bring in Eric quickly. I'm going to save Andrew and Binding to a double interview at the end. Hey, Eric.
Can you hear me?
I can,
It
yes.
works.
So, I think your race today didn't go quite as planned. Tell me about what was going on there. Was it damage or was it just the Honda not quite clicking with the mountain?
Race 1 was first of all, I had a terrible start. Then I hit the wall a couple times through the mountain, and eventually I had suspension damage. So,
okay, makes more sense.
So the car was pretty bad for the second half of the race.
Well, I mean,
And,
today aside, the rest of the league went fantastically. So you have won the championship overall with 362 points. Closest rival being Andrew with 346 points. So very strong finish to the championship, Eric. Hopefully you've enjoyed yourself along the way as well.
Yeah, it's been a good championship. If I can forget about this last round, it's been really good.
Well, I think you can let yourself off considering the very strong championship you've had up until now. But yes, been a pleasure watching you drive, Eric, and you've had some really good battles with the likes of Andrew and some of the other competitors in the championship. Will you be interested in the LMP2 league that's coming up next?
Yeah, the plan is to race the LMP2s. It's not my natural, it's not what I drive actually, but it'll be interesting, and I'll do my best. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Sounds good. Well, yeah, it's always nice to try new things out and put yourself outside your comfort zone. You've certainly got the most out of the Honda in this championship. The only one who chose the Honda, and you certainly made it work. Plus, you had a very nice livery, if I might say so. But yeah, thank you very much, Eric, for being part of the championship. It's been great having you driving with us. And once again, congratulations on the overall win. You've been climbing the Elo mountain very rapidly.
Thank you very much.
All right, Eric, cheers. I will catch you later, and I'll bring in Mr. Binding and Mr. Andrew. So I'm going to do a joint interview, Andrew and Binding.
Back!
Yeah, Binding, you've been waiting for this for a while, haven't you?
It only took 24 years of my life.
Well, yes, you two have not only won the team standings by a country mile, 652 points to 541 for Team Amarath, but you've also come P2 and 3 in the championship overall, so congratulations.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're
Andrew?
just that good, man. We're just that good.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, you two make quite a good team. Will you be teaming up together for the next league?
More than likely. I don't see why not. Andrew?
I've got some bad news, Binding.
Damn. It's so
You're
fucking
no, I'm taking a piss. We're gonna be back.
Very nice, very nice. And will you be putting on a cracking livery as the highs of your livery making career, including the radical?
I'm going to force Andrew to pick a livery. I'm not letting him make another one. Besides, maybe editing our names and numbers onto it, I'm not letting him make one again.
I don't know. I feel like that
you are
radical...
not making an all-black livery again, Andrew.
Was that not iconic? Is that not the most memorable livery on any Syndicate grid? For the wrong reasons, but you remember it.
Jesus Christ, man.
How can you forget the Void? Team Void. But anyway, well, I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with your creativity and chaotic minds. But yes, how was the racing today? Looks like you guys had a really good fun time battling mostly each other. But Very even pace between the two of you today.
Surprisingly, yes.
Yeah, it was a really good race from Bardo.
Just a
Just a
small
shame you weren't
punt between
all season,
teammates
mate.
here and there. But you didn't let Andrew sabotage your race binding, so I'm proud of you.
Neo almost did. I know you're in the audience right now, Neo. You little boy, you little poop.
You little boy.
Bringing on
Trying
the
to
big
fucking
insults,
break-
binding.
Trying to brake check me on the last corner on the final lap. I see how I see how it is. Nah.
Very good. Well, congratulations, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure and a blast having you in the league. As always, thank you for your attendance, despite the very small grid. And looking forward to seeing you boys in the LMP2 league in whatever livery you could end up using. But I'm sure you'll be a great addition to that league, as you have been with this one. So thank you again. Congratulations on the team win and the P2 and 3 finish. And I shall bid you a very good evening and bring in Neo, who has put the BMW drivers to shame.
He's been humiliating people lately, man.
When you interview him, be sure to ask him about what he thinks about Akashik's pace.
I shall. I will.
Cheers.
I should do that. But anyway, thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Binding. Catch you later.
See you
See
later.
you guys in a bit.
So Neo, congratulations! You have you've proven the other BMW drivers wrong, that you can get some pace out of the car. How was it today?
Pretty nice. Sadly, not enough for P1 though. The ride was just way too fast.
Yeah, tell me about the race number 2. I mean, race number 1, I don't think anyone had a chance, but you had a pretty good fight with Red in the second race. Was that were you finding that you had a certain advantage in certain parts of the track over the Audi, or was it just simply a bit of good luck?
It might have been a combination of the two. I think in Sector 1 I gained a bit of time against him, but then again I lost it all on the next two. And in the end I just lost out because, as Red already said, I had a bad exit and he just managed to creep by. Even though I put up a really good fight, just the thing with my internet again, it's really strange because I lag only in certain places.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Thankfully, we have the kind of the lag protection on, so it makes it a little bit easier to manage it. But yeah, you need to get a different internet provider.
I don't think it's gonna be that easy. You know, I still live with my parents. They do all the shit. They all do this stuff, and
Tell them it's for
don't
the serious
really get it
online
right.
internet racing. They'll understand.
yeah, man. I tried to. Yeah.
Well, how are you feeling about the LMP2 league coming up next, Neo? Will you be joining us for that one?
Yeah, sure. I think I am. Yeah.
Do you prefer like a high downforce car, or are you more of a touring car kind of person?
I think I do perform better in like touring car scenarios, but I do like high downforce cars as well. It's gonna be interesting though, where my pace is gonna be at equal cars, you know.
Yeah, well, that's it's a bit of a double-edged sword, because when you have everyone in the same car, at least it makes things a little bit easier from the balance of performance point of view. But at the same time, usually if there's multiple cars on the grid, you can find one that kind of works for you. Whereas if there's only one car choice, it can make it a little bit more restrictive. But hopefully, it's a really good quality mod, so it should make some good racing, and I'm sure you'll find some pace, as you have done here at BMW.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, Neil. Well, thank you very much.
Really shame.
Well, thank you for your attendance in the league. You finished 9th overall, 189 points, just 1 point behind Sketty, and you're definitely, I think, the hero of the BMW gang. So congratulations on that.
Shout out to Akashik, by the way. I don't know what he was cooking, but he somehow said that the BMWs were 3 seconds off on Bathurst.
Yeah. What's your message to Akashik on that front?
Hubert's skill issue. All I
Very
can
good.
say, man, I have no clue.
Maybe Akshik's driving the Deutsche Bahn trains because they're always slow as well. He
Might
certainly
be,
isn't driving a real car.
yeah.
Or a virtual one tonight. But anyway, thank you, Neo, for your attendance, and congratulations on the podiums today. And I will see you on the next league.
See ya.
Catch you later. Alright, there we go, everyone. That's the end of the racing today. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, and thank you all for participating in the league, helping to organise it. So big shout out to Red and Viles for their hard work on that, and generally everyone for being part of the community here at Syndicate Motorsport as we bring to a close another year of racing. But we have a new league on the way, so stay tuned for LMP2 action coming your way soon. Anyway, I should wish you all a very good rest of the weekend and a good evening. I've been Pirate Laserbeam doing the commentary stream, and I'll wish you all a good week ahead. Catch you later. Doing the commentary stream, and I'll wish you all a good week ahead.